motion is agreed to.
The yeas are 52, the nays are 47. The motion is agreed to.
Joint resolution will be placed on the calendar.
The joint resolution will be placed on the calendar. On to the previous order,
Hello, Patriots, and welcome back to Harlan Reports. I am so glad you are here with me today, but my heart is heavy. Before we begin, please, I am asking you to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with everyone you know, your family, your neighbors, your church group. The truth we are about to share is being hidden by the fake news, and every single American needs to hear it right now. We need to spread this message like a wildfire to save our country. Today's story is the most important one I have ever told. It is a story of betrayal, of heartbreak, but also of incredible strength. So please, settle in, because what I am about to tell you will change how you see our leaders forever.
In Washington, the U.S. Senate has moved to curb President Donald Trump's authority over military action in Venezuela. Lawmakers voted 52 to 47 to advance a war powers resolution that would require congressional approval for any further use of force. The rare bipartisan step follows recent U.S. operations that led to the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, raising concerns over executive power. The measure now heads toward a full Senate vote, though it faces hurdles in the House and the likely presidential veto.
It has now been 6 days since the U.S. forces carried out a surprise nighttime raid in Venezuela, taking Nicolas Maduro and his wife into U.S. custody. This action has caught the Venezuelan government off guard, along with few members of the U.S. Congress. Trump's action has now sparked a response from the Capitol Hill. Yesterday, U.S. Senate moved to limit the president's ability to launch future military strikes against Venezuela. It also advanced a war powers resolution aimed at reasserting congressional authority over the use of force. And after two previous failed attempts, the measure cleared a key procedural vote by a narrow margin of 52 to 47. In fact, 5 Republicans broke with President Trump and joined all Democrats in support of the resolution. Those senators are Rand Paul of Kentucky, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Todd Young of Indiana, Josh Hawley of Missouri. Supporters of the resolution say the president acted without proper authorization and that any prolonged military action must be approved by the Congress under the War Powers Act. President Trump strongly criticized the Senate vote, saying that it undermines American self-defense and national security. He claims it impedes his authority as commander-in-chief. He also called the War Powers Act unconstitutional and publicly called out the Republicans who voted for the measure, saying that other GOP senators should be ashamed of them. Vice President J.D. Vance, meanwhile, addressed the defections, saying that he spoke with the Republican senators and that their arguments were based largely on legal and procedural concerns and not on disagreement with the president's policy towards Venezuela. Meanwhile, Trump says that he has cancelled a previously expected second wave of attacks on Venezuela, saying that the situation is now working well together between the two leaders.
Folks, I have to be honest with you. I barely slept last night. I was up pacing the floor, tears in my eyes, watching what was happening in our nation's capital. It feels like a bad dream, but it is real. Late last night, while good, hardworking Americans like you were tucking your children into bed and saying your prayers, a terrible thing happened in the Senate. It was a sneak attack, not from our enemies abroad, but from right inside our own house. 5 Republican senators, people who promised to fight for us, turned their backs on President Trump and on America. You know the names. Senators like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. We call them RINOs, Republicans in name only, because they wear our team's jersey, but they play for the other side. In the dead of night, they joined hands with the Democrats to vote no. They voted to stop President Trump from getting the money he needs for our military operation in Venezuela. Can you imagine that? Our brave soldiers are ready to protect us. And these politicians said, stop. It cuts me to the core. It feels like a knife in the back of every patriot who voted for America first. President Trump is like the father of this great nation. He sees the danger down in Venezuela. He sees the bad guys threatening our safety and our way of life. He wants to make sure we are strong and safe. But these 5 senators, they decided they knew better. They decided to tie his hands. It makes me want to cry just thinking about it. Why would they do this to the man who has given everything for us? They betrayed his trust. And worse, they betrayed your trust. They think they can get away with it because it was late, and they think you aren't watching. But we are watching. And President Trump is watching. They made a massive mistake, folks. They thought they could hurt our president and weaken our country without consequences. But oh, how wrong they are. The sadness I feel is turning into something else now. A righteous anger, because you do not betray family. And you certainly do not betray the United States of America. Folks, I have to pause for a moment because my heart is just pounding in my chest. I want you to close your eyes and imagine the scene. It was late at night in Washington, D.C., the halls of Congress, which should be hallowed ground where patriots fight for us, turned into a scene of absolute heartbreak. I'm talking about a betrayal so deep it brings tears to your eyes. We aren't just talking about politics here. We are talking about loyalty. We are talking about family. And last night, 5 people we thought were part of our American family slammed the door in our faces. These senators, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and 3 others, they stood up one by one, and with the whole world watching, they voted yes to the Democrats and no to President Trump. I can barely get the words out. It is stomach churning. They didn't just vote against the bill, they voted against our safety. They voted to leave our president alone in the ring while he fights to keep the wolves away from our door. When I saw the tally on the screen, I felt a lump in my throat the size of a baseball. It felt like watching your own teammate score a goal for the other team on purpose. How could they? How could they look at the man who made America great again and stab him in the back like that? You have to wonder, what were they thinking? While President Trump is working day and night, barely sleeping, trying to stop the chaos in Venezuela from spilling over into our neighborhoods, these senators were plotting. They were whispering in corners with the very people who want to tear this country down. It makes you feel so alone, doesn't it? It makes you wonder if there's anyone left in Washington we can trust. Besides, Donald Trump, the pain of this betrayal isn't just anger, it is grief. It is the sadness of realizing that there are snakes hiding in the grass, pretending to be our friends. But friends, listen closely, because the sadness is starting to shift. The shock is wearing off. We are wiping our tears, and we are starting to look up. Because while those 5 senators were high-fiving the Democrats, thinking they had won, they forgot one very important thing. They forgot who they were dealing with. They thought they could silence the lion, but all they did was wake him up. And what happened next? Oh, folks, you are not going to believe the fire that came raining down. If they thought this was the end, they were dead wrong. It was only the beginning of their nightmare. I need you to understand something very important right now. This isn't just about what happened inside that fancy building with the white dome. This is about what's happening right here, in the heartland, in your living room. And at your kitchen table, when the news of this betrayal broke, it didn't just stay in DC, it spread like wildfire across the country. And let me tell you, the people are furious. I've been on the phone all morning with folks from Texas to Michigan, and the voice of the American people is loud and clear. We are done with the games. Imagine a hardworking dad named Mike in Ohio. He wakes up every morning before the sun rises, puts on his boots, and goes to work to feed his family. He voted for President Trump because he wanted someone to fight for him. And when he heard that 5 Republicans, people who were supposed to be on his side, voted to weaken our president, he didn't just get mad, he felt betrayed. He told me, Harlan, it feels like they spit in my face. That's the raw emotion out there, folks. It's the feeling of being let down by the very people you sent to Washington to protect you. And it's not just Mike, it's the moms worried about gas prices soaring if Venezuela falls apart. It's the veterans who know that a weak military means a dangerous world. These 5 senators didn't just vote against a bill, they voted against every single one of us who believes in America first. They looked at the struggling families, the soldiers, the patriots, and said, "We don't care about you." That kind of disrespect, it hurts deep in your soul. It makes you want to scream. But hold that anger, hold that pain, because President Trump hurt us. He felt that same rage, and he didn't let it slide. He took that anger and turned it into action, and that's why we love him. But folks, you know our president, you know Donald Trump. When he gets hit, he doesn't just sit there and take it. He doesn't hide in the corner. No, he stands up taller. He fights back harder. And he roars like a lion protecting his pride. And that is exactly what happened this morning. I watched it live, and I have to tell you, I had goosebumps covering my arms. It was a moment history books will write about. President Trump walked out to that podium, not with his head down, but with fire in his eyes. He didn't use fancy political words that hide the truth. He spoke from his gut, straight to ours. He looked right into the camera, right at those 5 senators, and he delivered a message that shook the very foundations of Washington, D.C. He said, if you betray this country, if you betray the people who voted for you, your time is up. He declared their political careers officially over. I want you to really feel the weight of that. He isn't just angry, he is taking action. He promised to find strong, loyal patriots to run against every single one of them in the next election. He is going to primary them, which means he is going to help real Americans take their seats. It was a promise to clean house. It was a promise to drain the swamp for good. Hearing him speak with such power, such certainty, it made me want to weep with relief. Because finally, we have a leader who isn't afraid to say you're fired to the people hurting our country. Now you might think those senators would hang their heads in shame after getting called out like that. You might think they would apologize to you, the American people, but folks, that is not how the swamp works. Instead of saying sorry, they doubled down. They went on the fake news channels, CNN, MSNBC, all of them, and started whining. They called President Trump dangerous. They called him reckless. Can you believe the nerve? They stab us in the back and then call us the bad guys. It makes my blood boil, and I know it makes yours boil too. They are trying to spin this, trying to make it look like they are the heroes for stopping our president. But we know the truth. We know that they are just trying to protect their fancy jobs and their cocktail parties in DC. They don't care about the safety of our country. They care about being popular with the liberal elites. It is sickening. It truly is. But here's the beautiful part. Their attacks are bouncing right off. President Trump isn't scared of their nasty words, and neither are we. Every time they attack him, it just shows us who they really are. It exposes them. It's like turning on the lights in a dark room and watching the roaches scatter. They are panicked because they know their time is running out. They know that the American people are awake, and we aren't going back to sleep. They can fight back all they want, but we have something they don't have. We have the truth, and we have the heart of a lion. I need to tell you about what happened next, because it's something that will make your heart swell with pride. It's something that reminds you why this country is special after the senators whining on TV. And after President Trump's powerful declaration, something amazing started to happen across our great land. It wasn't organized by some big corporation or fancy political group. It started with you. It started with the people. My phone has been ringing off the hook. My email is flooded. Social media is on fire. Regular folks, moms, dads, grandpas, students are standing up and saying, we are with Trump. In the states where these betraying senators live, like Maine and Alaska, the people are already moving. They aren't waiting for the next election season. They are organizing now. They are looking for real American patriots to run for office. They are donating $5, $10, whatever they can spare to help defeat the people who turned their backs on us. It's like a giant wave of red, white, and blue is washing over the country. I spoke to a grandmother in Maine named Martha. She was crying on the phone, but not sad tears anymore, tears of determination. She said, "Harlan, I voted for Susan Collins for years, but never again. She hurt my president and she hurt my country. I'm going to walk door to door if I have to make sure we get someone who loves America in that seat." Hearing her voice shake with passion, it moved me. It showed me that the spirit of 1776 is alive and well. The swamp thought they could demoralize us, but instead, they just created an army of patriots ready to fight for freedom. Now, I want you to look at the bigger picture with me. This isn't just about what happened in our Senate. It's about what the whole world is seeing. Think about the bad guys across the ocean. The dictators, the tyrants, the people who hate freedom, they are watching us like hawks. When they saw those 5 senators try to trip up our president, they probably laughed. They probably thought, "Look, America's weak. They are fighting each other. Now is our chance." That is the scary part, folks. That is what keeps me up at night. When our own leaders betray us, it puts a target on our backs. It tells the world that we are divided. But President Trump, he shattered that idea in 1 second by coming out swinging, by showing that he is in charge and that he won't tolerate weakness. He sent a message that roared across the oceans. He told every enemy of America, "Don't even think about it." He showed them that even if a few politicians are weak, the American spirit is strong. He showed them that for every traitor in Washington, there are millions of patriots ready to stand tall. It brings tears to my eyes to see such strength in a world full of danger. We are so lucky, so incredibly blessed to have a leader who puts a shield up in front of us and says, "You will have to get through me first." That is what a real protector does. That is what a real president does. Folks, wipe those tears of anger away, because I want you to start crying tears of pure joy. I want you to close your eyes and dream with me for a minute. Imagine what our government is going to look like very soon. Because of what President Trump did today, because of this brave nuclear response, we aren't just getting rid of the bad apples. We are planting a whole new orchard. Think about the future that is coming. Those 5 seats that belong to the betrayers, they aren't going to be filled by more people who care about fancy dinners and lobbyist money. No, sir. President Trump has promised us something beautiful. He is going to help us find real Americans to take charge. I am talking about people just like you. Imagine looking at the TV and seeing a Senate where, instead of a career politician who has lived in a mansion for 30 years, you see a school teacher from your town, someone who knows what it's like to worry about the cost of groceries. Imagine a farmer who knows the smell of the earth and the value of a hard day's work. Imagine a veteran who has actually stood on the wall to defend our flag. These are the people Trump is going to lift up. These are the patriots who are going to replace the traitors. It makes my heart swell so big I think it might burst. It makes me weep with happiness just thinking about the day they walk into the Capitol not to serve themselves, but to serve us. The panic in Washington right now, oh, you can practically smell it. It's thick in the air. Those 5 senators, Collins, Murkowski, and the rest, they are shaking in their boots tonight. They thought they were untouchable kings and queens. They thought they owned those seats. But Donald Trump just reminded them of the most important rule in America. There are no kings here. There's only we the people, and we the people are coming for their jobs. We are coming with our votes, with our voices, and with the full backing of the greatest president God ever gave us. This isn't just a political strategy. It is a cleansing. It is like watching a dirty old window get washed clean so the sun can finally shine through again. And let me tell you, the sun is shining brighter than it has in a long, long time. We are watching the old, corrupt way of doing things crumble to dust. And rising from that dust is a new Republican Party. A party that actually fights for you. It's a miracle, folks. It truly is. Friends, as we get closer to the end of this hour, I want to share something from the very bottom of my heart. I have been in this news business a long time. I have seen good days and bad days, But what I am feeling right now, it is something different. It is a feeling of coming home. For so long, you and I, the regular folks, the ones who follow the rules, who pay our taxes, and who love our flag, we felt like strangers in our own country. We watched politicians in Washington laugh at us. They took our money. They sent our jobs away. And they ignored our voices. It hurt. It hurt like a deep ache in your bones to feel like you didn't matter. But look at what happened today. When those 5 senators tried to stab us in the back, they expected us to give up. They expected President Trump to fold and just take it. But he didn't. He stood tall. And when he stood up for us, he lifted every single one of us up with him. I want you to feel that. Feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. We are not the forgotten men and women anymore. We are the ones in charge. President Trump made sure of that by ending the careers of those who betrayed us. He didn't just win a political fight. He saved the soul of our movement. He looked at the elites and said, "You work for them now." I was reading a letter just before I came on air from a young man named Daniel in Kentucky. He told me, "Harlan, I used to think my vote didn't count. I used to think the system was rigged against people like me. But seeing Trump fight for us, seeing him take on his own party to do what is right, it makes me want to cry with happiness. I finally feel like I have a champion." Daniel, if you are watching, you are right. We have a champion, and he is fighting for you, for your future, and for the American dream. He is fighting so that you never have to feel small or forgotten ever again. This is the moment the history books will talk about. They will say, this was the day the swamp finally realized they lost. They will say, this was the day the people took their power back. The fear is gone, folks. The doubt is gone. All that is left is a burning love for this country and a fierce determination to keep it free. We are united like never before. Those 5 senators, they are yesterday's news. They are ghosts of the past. But you are the future. And looking at you, seeing your spirit, I have never been more hopeful. Before I let you go tonight, I want to leave you with one final thought. I want you to look at your children. I want you to look at your grandchildren. Tonight, when you tuck them into bed, you give them an extra hug. You tell them that today, something changed. You tell them that the bad guys tried to win, but the good guys fought back. You tell them that their future is safe because we have a president who loves them more than he loves his own comfort. This battle we are in, it isn't easy. There are going to be more hard days. The swamp isn't going to give up without a fight, but neither are we. We have found our voice. We have found our strength. And most importantly, we have found each other. We are a family of millions of patriots who believe in God, country, and freedom. And there is no force on this earth that can stop us when we stand together. So dry your eyes, patriots. Stand up tall. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of your president. And never, ever forget this feeling. The feeling of victory, the feeling of hope, the feeling of America winning again. We are just getting started. The best is yet to come. I promise you that. Please, before you go, do me one favor. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it with everyone you know. Let's keep this truth marching on. I will be right here with you every step of the way, fighting for the truth every single day. God bless you. God bless President Trump, and God bless the United States of America. This is Harlan, signing off.